On this episode of Mobility Time, pecs. We're here at Mobility Time. Gonna work on those pecs a little bit tonight because I want you to join Mobility Time in the fight against douchebaggery. Douchebaggery, you know what I'm talking about. Yo bro, how much you bench? Rolled forward shoulders, air lats going on, bro. Nah, we aren't gonna have that. We're gonna be spending a lot of time doing a lot more push-ups than we're used to. We're gonna get tightened down. We're probably spending more time on our little devices and phones, getting all that rounded shoulder position, weakening that upper back, maybe making me a little bit kyphotic in my T-spine, go back to yesterday. We're gonna fix that. We're gonna get rid of the douchebaggery by working on those pecs, those delts, opening up that chest. So we stay nice and balanced, helps us in all of our overhead and gymnastics positions, and just in general, no one wants to be that guy, all right? So, a couple things. First, take your lacrosse ball. If you got one, if not, you can find something to make do. There's, you could even use like some sort of bottle or water bottle and do something similar with this. Get on a wall or on the ground. I'll come closer. I'm just gonna set this right there, kind of at the top of my pec, right where it's kind of inserting close to my delt at my shoulder. And I'm just gonna spend some time massaging that area, trying to get those, all that muscle fibers and everything smoothly sliding back in together. So I can restore that range of motion when I stretch. Another thing I like to do here is pin it on a certain spot and then now add range of motion or add some different positions. I can really feel that through my pec as I work some different positions or make it a little bit more dynamic and apply pressure. So on some of these days you're doing all this Murph prep or tons of push-ups, take some time to work on this after you're done. Spending 3 to 5 minutes on both sides with that lacrosse ball, just prepping those tissues so they don't all lock down on me and get that rolled forward position, especially if I do a lot of push-ups and then I go right back to my devices. It's gonna start locking me down into that forward position, and we wanna fight that during this time at home. Next movement is called the triple bully. I'm gonna use this post right here. So a couple things you're gonna see me do is I'm gonna grab the post with my thumb pointed up. You could use a door frame here. And I'm gonna start leaning forward and get into extension. The big thing I want is just like that, we talked about that douchebag shoulder. We don't want it. So when I get set up, I'm gonna pull that shoulder to the very back of the joint. Some of us are gonna have the tendency when we grab that post is to let our shoulders fall forward so we can like stretch. And that way we're taking the stretch off what we want and we're not getting it, that's not the position we want, is that shoulder forward. I wanna pull it back and then grab the post. So, grab the post. We'll go more out here. Thumb up. Pull that shoulder blade back. And then just lean forward slightly so I can get some extension at the shoulder. But I want to make sure I'm keeping that shoulder blade back in the socket and not rolled forward. Here's one from the other side. Pulling that shoulder back. Then lean forward, getting some extension on that shoulder, making sure that shoulder keeps staying back and not letting it collapse or falling forward. And then what I can start to do is, once I've got that extension, lower myself and turn towards that side that I'm stretching, get a little bit more internal rotation and stretch through that pec and shoulder. Spend a couple minutes each arm working that triple bully. Remember, biggest, most important thing is when I grab that, some of us might get here and we already have that shoulder wanting to dive forward. Just try to get in the position. Maybe I'm just holding my back. It's pulling that shoulder to the back of the socket. Next, we're just gonna go lateral shoulder opener. Get a nice stretch through the pec and just open me up. And this one I'm gonna be externally rotated. So I'm gonna have my band, place that palm towards the sky so I'm biasing external rotation. And then now just turn away. And let that band distract up the joint and really open me up. I can get a little bit more tension if I want. Just spend a couple minutes here. I could do the same thing on a post. It's not quite the same distraction, but I can get a similar stretch. Just same thing, pull that shoulder to the back of my joint. I don't want to let that shoulder fall forward as I do this, or move forward and let it kind of dip into that position. Nice tall chest. That's what we got. Work on those pecs. Make them feel good. Fight douchebaggery. We don't want the roll forward shoulders. We got to be able to overhead squat. We got to be able to snatch. We got to be able to toe to bar. So keep those positions by hitting this mobility. Adios.